Imagine from one to the other day, all of the computers wouldn't work. Well, okay, we did have something like that half a year ago, but no, I'm not talking just about the Windows computers. I'm talking about all computers at once. Your bank account is empty, you didn't have some power again, outside is an apocalypse, and nukes will just start at random. These are all things that could have happened if the Y2K bug really did that. Well, hey everyone. Well, we have the new year and I find that topic here pretty relevant now again. Well, but what is the Y2K bug and why so many people freaked out of it, and do we have a similar problem in the future? Well, this Y2K bug thing is a bug from the early computers from the 60s, where the computers did fill out an entire room, just like the IBM 1400, and also later the IBM System 360 from 1964, but the IBM System 360 were also backwards compatible to the IBM 1400 system. But long story short, the problem with these computers were that memory-wise, it was pretty darn expensive. Yeah, you could get like a 1K RAM stick for about $5 to $10. Okay, it doesn't sound that much of a money, but if we are comparing it with modern drive sizes and such, a 1 gigabyte RAM stick would have cost $5 to $10 million. And yeah, I don't think that anyone could afford that much money. And everyone wanted to save some space. And the easiest way was to just put 2-digit year numbers instead of 4-digit numbers for the year. So that would mean that a year like 1959 would just mean 59. And from a financial standpoint, it made total sense. If a bank does 1 million transactions in a year, and when they can save up 2 bits or 2 bytes from the year, and they would save $20,000 a year. And hey, everyone wants to save some money, And hey, it was the 60s, so they wouldn't expect anyone would use software like 40 years later. Yeah, but like the military or insurance companies or social buildings or such, well, in these places in the 90s, they were still doing some things with the IBM mainframes from the 60s. That only can do 2-digit year numbers. And these places, it was complex and very expensive to replace those machines. But something has to be done, because when really does the year 2000 come, the computers would see this that this is a year way before the December 31st, 1999. It would then say it's January 1st, 1900. And that can cause some problems then. Well, and there were 2 or possibly 3 options to deal with it, or that the computer can recognize a year 2000. The first problem to the solution would be to update these old programs so they can use the 4-digit year numbers. Or what also was an option was the windowing or pivot year, so that the computer would set that the years 00 to 20, for example, would be the 2000s. Or the third solution was to just replace those old mainframe machines with something new that can do the 4-digit year numbers. And some companies did knew how much a problem was it. And banks, they wouldn't really know if transactions would be delayed or something. And the US government invested $10 million in the Y2K preparation. And also with this critical infrastructure like the water lines, do they work? And what about those scary nuclear plants? Could those still get some water? Well, and this would be an entire chaos then. That some people wouldn't come to their money or their savings, and also some easy things like groceries, they would rise up in the prices, and so the entire financial market on this planet would be in total chaos. Or what's also a little bit scary is when those nuclear weapons would just start at random. Yeah, and they would start that the entire world will be an end. Or like dialysis systems, vehicles, cars, or traffic lights. Yeah, they all could be a Y2K bug inside it. Yeah, and because of all these problems, some old programmers were brought in from retirement to fix their programs. And other companies saw the opportunity to do some money with it, with just selling some software that just check the computer if it's Y2K proof or just software that is Y2K proof. Or hardware manufacturers, they sold PCI cards so that the BIOS of a computer would be updated to see the 2000s. And Microsoft did even made a Windows 95 update CD so that Windows 95 is also capable of the year 2000. And everything that just had a microchip in it would be placed with Y2K proof stickers or the NSTL sticker so that they could see the year 2000 then. And a PC? Okay. The video game Lego Island? Well, safe is safe. A toaster? Well, why the heck not? These stickers were everywhere and just some device that had a microchip in it, slap a Y2K sticker on it and you're good to go. And even some devices that didn't even match the NSTL requirements, those are the stickers no matter how. So yeah, it was a little bit of a scam. But in the consumer side, it was really not that problematic because all of these computers that were out in this time period, they accepted the 4-digit year number, no problem. But I have here a old 286 PC here, but I'm a little bit scared to turn this on now because I don't know if some capacitors on it would blow up now. But when I did have it running here, it accepted the full 4-digit year number, no problem. I could send it directly here to 2025, no problem. And all of the other 3 machines that were designed or the hardware is before 1999, those accept the 4-digit year number, no problem. Well, but I think it could depend on the BIOS of the computer. Because on some cheaper computers, it could happen that after the 1999 would go to the 2000s, the computer could go back to 1980, so yeah. But it was pretty big panic about the year 2000, but after then it has to come the year 2000. And well, then the January 1st of 2000 came and well...
Hier ist das erste deutsche Fernsehen mit der Tagesschau. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Der Wechsel ins Jahr 2000 hat weltweit bisher keine nennenswerten Computerprobleme gebracht.
It was a normal Saturday. Banks did banking, the military did military things. It was nothing really seen about some Y2K things that were announced that could happen. It was small things then, yeah? Like a EC terminal here in Germany did in fact show the year 1900, but this was a small problem. Well, in South Korea there were some problems with some invoices or salary reports, and in the US a weather satellite did send some false information for some time. But all those problems they were small problems, so nothing really big like it was praised, nothing really happened, so crisis avoided. But I think it boils down that really everyone was involved to fix those old programs, so everything is prepared for the year 2000. And at the end, billions were invested to save up for the Y2K. And that was the success of it. The biggest nothing event of the tech history. It was only 20 years later or so that some of the Y2K fixes were then be seen. Or it's better known as the Y2020 bug. Because, as I mentioned before, a popular option were the windowing or the pivot year. so that a computer were told that everywhere with 00 and 20 were the 2000s, and well, yeah, those machines that relied on that mechanic, and yeah, we did have the year 2020, and some of the devices didn't really did good. There were some problems with some banks that the credit cards didn't really function, and at some airlines they announced that the tickets with the January 1st 20 would be misspelled by computers for the year 1920, and also in some areas when you were born in the year 2020, and in some computers it would be registered as that you've been born at the year 1920. Yeah. Well, but this would be awesome. You can already plan your retirement after you were born because you are over 100 years old. But all these things with the Y2K bug, they were still small things and what we promised with the Y2K bug. So it is still small problems. Well, and why didn't we hear anything about those Y2020 errors? Well, yeah, in 2020 we did have actually some other problems from a virus from China, the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, so that's why we didn't hear about anything about these errors. But we could actually have a problem like the Y2K bug in 2038 when some 32-bit devices were still in use then. Because the deal with those systems is when they use the Unix timestamp, they could actually have some problems with the year 2038. Because those systems say that it is January 1st, 1970, plus so and so many seconds after that we have the current date. Yeah, but it would be after January 19th, 2038, and some of the 32-bit devices, the numbering of the seconds would be over, because a 32-bit system has a 32-bit number, because it's a 32-bit system, and yeah, this numbering is then over. And after that, the plus seconds from then would be translated to negative, so that we actually then have December 13th, 1901. But it only occurs on 32-bit machines, like for example macOS before 10.7 Lion, the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, the Wii, Nintendo DS, to name a few systems here. But also other things like automobiles, medical devices or aircrafts, they could also still use 32-bit devices that could use the Unix timestamp, and yeah, those can have the 2038 problem. But also some devices were patched, like the PlayStation 3 or the Wii were patched to also accept a 64-bit timestamp, so that they could still be used after 2038. Well, this is good news, because then I can plan my retirement with Wii Sports here. And when I'm like 80 years old, I can have the feeling that old people have now with Wii Sports. But what is also interesting, in Windows XP, there is, it isn't really a problem, yeah, because Microsoft did in fact use another system for that, the file time system it used for the date. And this file time system from Windows XP, it could also reach the year 58,000. And yeah, I think we didn't have any problem with that now. But on Windows XP, it could actually have some problems after 2038 when some APIs or software were used that access the Unix timestamp. And then Windows XP did have some problems after 2038. And well, what about our current 64-bit systems? Well, those systems can actually show up the year 292 billion. So yeah, I don't think we would be worried about those problems either. And well, I would say the rest we see in the future what could happen. Well, maybe we see a 128-bit system that could theoretically see a year 53 sextillion. And that would be 53 with 33 zeros hanging on it. And well, this date is way after the end of the universe, so yeah. But this could be useful for some German authorities, that they could send you an email in the year 24 billion that you didn't have paid your taxes in the year 21,004. Or when you also plan to play some Mario Kart on the Wii with an emulator after the universe has ended. Well, but I would say we see what happens in the future, and well, that was for me. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you want to see more of those videos, you can leave a subscribe down there. And then I would say we see us in the next video. So we see us.